Howdy folks, my name's Alex, otherwise known as Fear the Z, and welcome to episode 44 of the Turner's Digest. As always, we'll start our episode with our disclaimer. I'm not a financial or tax advisor. This is not a financial or tax advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, but please enjoy. The intro music was by my brother's band, Sweaty Lemon. Their album's out if you want to take a listen. And I was teasing this last episode, but I do have a copy of one of the song's raw recordings, or at least a downloadable copy of the song. So I'm going to play it at the end of this episode. If you want to give it a listen, kind of force feeding it to you. If you stick around for long enough, you'll get a little snippet. The album's called From the Basement, Sweaty Lemon From the Basement. Info in the show notes. Shout out to our Patreon. There's some updates there, which I'll go over here. But as always, shout out to Kung Fuer and Cleed for the Cleed tier. That's our highest tier, which is $10 a month. If you want to support me, you can hop on over there. There's tiers as low as $1. It goes up to $10. We had 2 new members, so welcome to Lil Orange and TJ. Thanks for your support. And I've teased this a couple times, and I've had some polls asking to see if there would be some interest in this, but I decided to set up a Discord, a private Discord, as well as a new Patreon tier for Discord members. So that'll be at $5. It's $5 a month if you want to support. Make sure that you link your Patreon to your Discord. You'll be able to just automatically gain access once you do that. You have that tier. For some people, you might not be super happy with this choice. I know some people wanted a public Discord, but I feel like a lot of stuff that I would want to discuss in there are more private. And I mean, similar to other private channels, whether it be Discord or Slack, it makes it easier to discuss these things if there's a sense of privacy to it, where people will be more open to having discussion on it. So I'll be in there. Feel free to check it out if you become a member. You can always just become a member for a month and then leave. But any support always helps. And it took some time to set it up, so I hope you all enjoy and hope to catch you in there. Also, one more shout out. Thanks to Cleed. He sent in a bunch of new credit card images that he got. He sourced himself, and I've uploaded them onto the site. So those are now available there if you're into that sort of thing like I am. I always love adding new images there. It does take a decent while to add all of them and get them all set up on the site, but I like growing the collection and being able to say that I have the largest collection of credit card images on the internet. At least I'd like to say that. I think that's true. And then finally, one more housekeeping thing. This happened last episode, but I forgot to call it out. But I was listening to Kai's episode, who is the host of The Daily Churn. He had an episode, or had a feature on all the hacks. And in there, they name-dropped myself as well as Daily Churn. So, or not Daily Churn, Churning Life. So huge thanks to them. I definitely noticed a little bit of an uptick in the recent episode listeners. So if you're from there, welcome. I hope you enjoy the material. And without further ado, we'll dive into this episode's material. I think this might be a shorter episode. I wanted to get this out before I'm traveling next week, but we'll dive in here. First up, there was an interesting thread on our churning about the whole Synapse collapse. It looks like the New York Times picked up the article, and someone shared some information from there. They gave a little synopsis from the New York Times article. If you don't have New York Times, they give a little AI summary, but essentially they covered what I've been covering. But there's been some interesting discussion in the thread if you want to read further about it. They talk about the fact that if you want to see if something's FDIC insured, go look at FDIC's site where they have something called Bank Find, where you can find your bank and see if it is FDIC insured or not. That's not exactly an end-all be-all answer, because there are things that are a little bit hidden from the user. Like Wealthfront, for example, they say their FDIC insured up to $8 million, but that's because of deposit suites that they have, where your funds are never held with Wealthfront. They're held with Wealthfront. They're held with their partner banks, but it could be similar to this case of Juno, where your funds are handled by an intermediary for some time, and it could even be that your deposits are held in an account that isn't in your name. So there's just some added risk when, especially now, that's coming to light when it comes to things like fintechs. And we'll discuss some alternatives here coming up, especially for those with high net worth or want to have a large deposit in a bank account. But I personally still use Wealthfront. I think the risk is pretty small, even though I did get 4K tied up in the whole Juno debacle. Hopefully that comes back eventually. I've just written it off in my finances. So if I get it back, I get it back. If not, then it's vis-a-vis, I guess. Something that I wanted to call out was the FDIC did publish and come out and say that they're not going to step in here and fix the shortfall for user deposits, which I think is pretty, what's the word I want to use? I guess maybe inconsistent, or like shows their true colors. I mean, if we look back at the SVB situation, the majority of those deposits with SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, were over the FDIC insurance of $250K, and the FDIC decided to honor those deposits and make them whole again. But they did not have to do that because FDIC insurance explicitly only covers you for up to $250,000 per user per account, per account holder per account, or per account holder per bank. I believe that's what it is. And they decided to step in and catch up or fix all the shortfall that happened there. But so there's a case where the FDIC had the option to step in and go beyond their reach, and they did. And now there's another case with Synapse brokerage filing for bankruptcy and hundreds of millions of dollars of funds not being made whole. They have the opportunity again to step in where it's past their jurisdiction, and they're choosing not to. I get that it's a little bit different where Silicon Valley Bank is definitely FDIC insured, and they just decided to like extend the coverage further, while in this case they claim that it's not insured at all. I still would like to have seen it. It's tough to see, especially when those impacted by SVB were mostly larger hedge funds and venture capitalists, while those impacted by the Synapse brokerage bankruptcy is just regular citizens. It doesn't sit right with me, but who knows? Hopefully something comes of it. Always Finance Business Weekly is constantly updating on that. I try and keep a pulse, but there's a lot going on. He wrote I think it's Jason Milakis, I think. I'm not looking at it in front of me right now, but he recently published a article where he covered his beliefs of something along the lines of the FDIC said that they don't believe that they are responsible for the shortfall, and he's disagreeing. Let me see if I can find the article. Here it is. So I got his name wrong, Jason Maluka. I also got his site wrong. It's not Finance Business Weekly, it's FinTech Business Weekly. And the name of the article is Fed Chair Powell Got It Wrong. Regulators have clear authority, duty to supervise third-party services providers like Synapse. What happened to Synapse's missing money? There was a recent hearing with Chair Powell, as well as, I forget what board they were talking with, but they spoke explicitly on this situation a bit, and Jason did a great write-up on it. I'm not going to go through this. If you want to read it, it's on his site. It's free. Definitely a good write-up and good to keep yourself abreast to the situation. All right, next. Last episode, I referenced FTDPs, and I was like, I don't know what FT is. Someone reached out to me, and someone on Reddit by the username of Burgermonster reached out and told me that it's probably Flyer Talk, and I think that's accurate. I don't frequent Flyer Talk, so it wasn't top of mind, so thanks, Burgermonster, for calling that out. Next, Dr. Credit is reporting that the Costco membership will increase their price from $60 to $65 for basic and $120 to $130 for executive. I still think it's very worth it. They do call out that on a positive note, the maximum annual 2% reward associated with the executive membership will increase from $1,000 to $1,250. So, I mean, if you shop at Costco decently frequently, it's still a no-brainer. I mean, it's crazy that that's how low the membership is when you think about it. I love Costco. I think it's like American capitalism done the right way. And if you have a membership coming up here soon that is due, you have until September 1st of 2024 until these membership fees kick in. Also, they say to keep in mind that active memberships can only be renewed within 90 days prior to the expiration date. So go in, check and see if you have this, and if you have this coming due, and if you do, renew, get a cheaper price. I don't know if you can gift. Like, I remember there was the whole Amazon Prime, a gift of Prime to lock in the lower rate before they hiked it. I wonder if there's something similar for Costco. Not that I'm aware of, but something to think about. Next, there's always something going on with Evolve Bank and Trust, and this time it's involving Bilt. Bilt used to be issued through Evolve Bank and Trust, and they changed to Wells Fargo. And Bilt has decided to sunset the Evolve Bilt card, and have offered customers who have that to open up the new card and get 10,000 points for applying for the new card. It is annoying because you have to reapply. It's a brand new card, brand new line of credit, new hard pull, and the old one's just getting closed. So it's a bit frustrating that you have to now waste another slot for it when you've already done this. But it is nice to get the 10,000 points. I mean, that's could be worth, if it's 1 cent per point, $100. So it's a nice little pad your tears with some money. Next, Cleed shared with me that they have the Navy Federal Credit Union card that's like the catch-all 1.5% card, and they were targeted for an increase to 2% cash back on all purchases like permanently. It seems like they might be converting that card to that slowly, but it's targeted at the moment, so keep an eye on your emails. Next, Dr. Credit shared that there are some elevated sign-up bonuses for some Chase cards. Actually, specifically one Chase card. The Chase Marriott Bonvoy Bold card now comes with 6,000 points and a free night certificate, as well as changes to the card. The new changes came into effect on July 4th, but the card has no annual fee, no foreign transaction fees, 5 elite night credits each year, 3x points on Marriott Bonvoy hotels, 2x in grocery, rideshare, internet, cable, phone services, and some food delivery and streaming services, 1x and everything else. The travel now, pay later, no interest payment plan, and points don't expire as long as you make a purchase on the card every 24 months. Doesn't really seem like a worthy card, but figured I'd call it out. Next, Chase extended their $900 checking and saving bonus. I think I'm coming due for this sometime in the near-ish future. Let me check my reminders. I know that my mom was coming due, and then she messages me like last week, and she was like, "Oh, I opened up a new Chase account." I'm like, "Would you?" I had a reminder. I already told you about this to tell you explicitly not to do that because you can get the bonus again coming at a particular date. So she missed out on that. She doesn't really care, but I guess I care more. Yeah, I'm due on July 22nd, so I will be going for this soon as I'm available. In case you're wondering, that bonus is $300 when you open a Chase Total checking account and have direct deposits post to the account within 90 days. Save $200 when you open a Chase savings account and deposit $1,500 in new money within 30 days and maintain the balance for 90 days, and then get a $400 extra bonus when you do both at once. I've done this in the past. It pays out pretty quick. Next, just wanted to call out something that Dr. Credit called out, that the Vanguard SE 401k portfolio was sold to Ascensus, which means that since your account's changing, some fee schedules are changing as well. It looks like, reading through this real quick, Ascensus charges $20 per Vanguard fund per year. So if you have this, keep that in mind. It's kind of annoying that it's kind of out of your hands. You didn't really sign up for this. But just something to note if you have the card, if you have the account. Next, Blue Peak, which I think I've talked about in the past, has an elevated sign-up bonus. It's currently $600 when it's a pretty convoluted system. There's a whole like table you got to follow. So your first payout is $50. In 90 days, you need to have 3 qualifying direct deposits totaling $3,000, so $1,000 a month essentially, and 15 purchases totaling $150. Then your second payout is at 180 days when you continue the same direct deposits for around $1,000 a month. Again, 15 debit card purchases of $150 total, and continuing to have the account. The third one is 150, all the same requirements, but at 270 days. And then the fourth payment is $300 at 360 days. So it's a full year, $600 bonus. It takes a long time. You have to keep track of a lot. You have to have constant direct deposits going in there, as well as at least 15 debit card purchases per month, and that's the total $150. Also, Dr. Credit says this is for California only, but I've opened the account. I don't know if they've changed things in terms of their footprint in the past, but I currently have the account. If you're open to doing this for a full year, it's $600 is nothing to scoff at. If it's easy for you to change your direct deposit, I don't hate the bonus. I also got a soft pull online, even though Dr. Credit says that there's mixed data points of soft and hard pull. I mean, maybe they've changed things since I applied, but I did not have a hard pull. All right, next. If you still haven't signed up for SoFi somehow, they are now matching their all-time high for a sign-up bonus. So Rakuten is offering $250, as well as Swagbucks themselves are offering $300 when you direct deposit $5,000 within 30 days. Definitely check and see what qualifies as a direct deposit for them. If I look real quick on Dr. Credit, they are quoting, it's a large website. Let's let it load. Let it cook. Looks like Ally counts. Looks like Wealthfront did count at one point, but doesn't anymore. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But they actually sent me an email for that to notify me of that change, which I thought was very courteous. Like, they don't have to do that. I guess I've made some transfers from Wealthfront to SoFi, and I definitely have received emails from them saying, like, hey, you've qualified for SoFi Plus, which gets, like, extra APY or something. But I never really played it much mind because I'm not using that account for the interest. But they sent me an email saying, we're letting you know of a change to your SoFi checking savings account. SoFi offers SoFi Plus benefits, which is a high interest rate for members who have recurring direct deposits. You've previously qualified for SoFi Plus benefits because SoFi considers transfers from Wealthfront to be direct deposits. However, as of July 11th and moving forward, Wealthfront transfers no longer count towards SoFi Plus benefits. We apologize for any confusion or inconvenience this may have caused. I mean, it's super nice of them to send that out, but that's no longer a viable option for SoFi to count as direct deposit. So maybe try PNC, Revolut. Looks like Wise doesn't work anymore. Hopefully Ally still works. Maybe this data point's kind of old. Looks like they might be cracking down on it a little bit. The one from Ally is old, so hopefully it works if you're looking to do that. Next, Wells Fargo has some new cards as well as elevated cards. Wells Fargo is launching a Expedia Group card called One Key cards, where they're offering One Key Plus, which has a $99 annual fee, $600 in One Key cash. It's a $600 sign-up bonus, 3% on Expedia, Hotels.com, and Vrbo. I didn't know Vrbo was owned by them. That's kind of wild. 3% on gas station, grocery stores, and dining, 2% on all of the purchases. They also say that when combined with One Key benefits, Platinum tier members earn 9% on Expedia Hotels and Hotels.com when booking VIP access properties and 5% on Vrbo. There are some asterisks there, so definitely look into it a little bit further. They also give you $100 One Key cash each cardholder anniversary, just like the Capital One Venture X card. And you also unlock Platinum when you spend $30,000 per year on the card, which is kind of crazy. Comes with trip cancellation, interruption, auto collision, damage waiver, and common carrier travel accident insurance. And then the standard One Key card is no annual fee, $400 sign-up bonus for spending $1,000 in 3 months. That's pretty high. 3% on, so it looks like all the percents are the same, except it doesn't come with the Unlock Platinum, as well as the $100 annual benefits, and it's 1.5% instead of 2%. It's always nice to see new cards coming out. The One Key Plus sign-up bonus, actually both sign-up bonuses seem kind of decent. I don't see this being super useful cards, but it's always nice to see new cards pop up. And then, as I mentioned, Wells Fargo's Choice Privilege credit card sign-up bonus is now up to 100,000 points when you spend $3,000 in the first 3 months, which is enough for 12 rewards nights. The annual fee is $95. You get 10x on participating choice hotels, 5x on qualifying purchases at gas stations, grocery stores, home improvement stores, and phone plans. 1x on everything else. Automatic platinum elite status for 20 elite nights. And a 30,000 bonus points every account anniversary. The Choice Privilege MasterCard has a 70,000 sign-up bonus. 70,000 point sign-up bonus when you spend $1,000 in the first 3 months. You can also do a dummy booking and get 40,000 points and $150 statement credit. You get 5x on choice hotels, 3x on gas station, groceries, home improvement stores, and phone plans, and then 1x to everything else. And you get 10 elite night credits. Both these bonuses are 10,000 points higher than when they launched, excuse me. If you value choice points, then this is a pretty decent deal. That's about all I have to say about that. All right. Next, there's a targeted Webull cash account offer where you get 8% APY for 180 days. I think you have to open up the account fresh or you have to be targeted for it. There is a public link, but it seems to be targeted. The terms just state deposit new funds of more than $50,000 to get additional 3% bonus. Deposits between $25,000 and $50,000 will get a 2.5% bonus. And there are some nuances that Dr. Credit call out at the bottom of this article. If you're interested, definitely take a look. Next, our churning, the user Duff California did their annual demographic survey, which I participated in. I always find this interesting. I can just read some high-level stats. Where's the little write-up? I like reading it. Let me see where this is. Hold on. Hey, here it is. In 2024, your average churner is 35-year-old married, straight white male with no kids. He is employed but doesn't travel for work. He has never served in the military but does have a bachelor's degree. His household income is $235,000, and there's a decent chance that he lives in California. He's a quote-unquote business owner who is 424, though he's been approved for 29 credit cards in total since joining our churning. He carries 4 physical cards with him on a daily basis and he has 6 credit cards in his digital wallet. He hasn't been shut down by any banks, and he's been subscribed to our churning for at least 3 years, but less than 4 years. The whole post is super interesting. It's definitely worth a read if you like stats and data and numbers. And they gave a link to some Tableau sheets that are also really interesting to play around with and see some interesting correlations. Like you can look at how many cards you hold in your wallet by gender, which is interesting, or you can look at some other interesting data that you can kind of create a Venn diagram of and see the overlap. I'm really grateful that this user does this. I like seeing data like this. There were only 3,657 members that participated, which is shocking considering that there's 600,000 members of the subreddit. But I mean, this is Friday at 5:30 p.m. There's only 90 people currently on the site. So I guess that kind of makes sense that it's lower. Next, an update on my first trust sign-up bonus, which was I'm doing a $350 bonus for doing, I think how much do I have to spend on this? Open an Eagle First Pay checking account and earned 35,000 points when you spend $350 within 60 days. What I plan on doing is, what I've done actually, is I have made debit card payments for my Citi cards on the phone. You can call Citi and pay for your balance with the debit card, and I did it with this card to qualify as a purchase because that normally tracks as a purchase. I should actually go look at that. First Republic? What did I say it was? First. Let me look. All right, logging in, I am showing that I earned points on my account, so I assume that means that the transactions were qualified for points. The site's not super great in calling out how many points I did earn. You just have to go to the redeem point section. It tells you how many points you currently have. But just to call out as a reminder, this is only available for Delaware, Maryland, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. and I made some comments on this Dr. Credit post as well. I was pinged by Eric, who's pretty active in Dr. Credit, and they had some clarifying questions on the value of the points. And they asked me to take a look and see what I'm seeing. And I am seeing what they asked for, but actually the points are a little bit better than what Dr. Credit quoted. So Dr. Credit quoted that things like Amazon gift cards are $100 for 12,400 points, I think, or 10,800 points. But I'm just seeing 1-to-1, so 1 cent per point, 10,000 points for a $100 Amazon gift card. So when this pays out, it'll be worth $350 in Amazon. So hopefully that works out. I think I'm at like $300 in spend on that. I have to make some more payments with the debit card, but shouldn't be hard to qualify for, and I'll definitely update when that posts. Next, Dr. Credit shared that Capital One and Walmart officially end their partnership, and all the cards have been converted to a quick silver card. That's just like their basic, not very interesting card. I think it's 1.5% on everything. It is interesting to see what happens with the Discover merger, which we'll talk about coming up here, especially with Discover It often having cash back for Walmart purchases. So I'm curious to see if that continues or if that's next once the merger happens or if it happens. Next, during Prime Day, a Apple MacBook Air M3 2024 new from Amazon was going for $850. I just looked, and right now it's still discounted, but it's at $900, not $850. Still a great deal. I have an M1 refurbished MacBook Air that I got, I think, for like $600, and I love that thing. It never dies. It flies around. The 8 gigabytes of RAM is way more than enough. All I do is just some light web browsing, some doc editing, stuff for the podcast. So if you're just looking for an internet machine, it's fantastic for that. A good travel machine. Next, Discover has a targeted 6% cashback at restaurants. So check your emails, see if you got this. You can earn up to $75 in additional 6% cashback. So I think that comes out to 7% total because it's additional 6%. If you're targeted, definitely capitalize on it. Next, this is expired, but Amazon was having during their Prime Day, they often have their points deals where like you can redeem one point and get 40, 50, 60% off of your purchase based on which card you're using. So American Express often does like either 40% to 60% discount when you use one American Express membership point. So what was happening was they were giving these discounts on the original price, and then during Prime Day there were Prime deals, so a Prime price, which brought the price down even further. But the discount was applied to the original price, not the deal of the day price. So for my example, I purchased a Amazon Echo Show 8. I don't really need this, but the retail price is $150. The deal of the day discounted it an additional $65, and then I had an American Express 50% off offer, which was taken on the original price of $150. So the extra 50% off was maxed $75, and I got $75 off. So I only paid $10 for this. It's going to be probably a Christmas gift for somebody, but hey, it's $10. It's a fantastic deal. There are also some options to just have something be completely free, but I figured this was the best value for what I'm paying, so I went with that. Next, there was an interesting post on our credit cards just asking, if you had $100,000, would you switch everything to Bank of America? And I personally think yes, it's a good call, but someone had a good point where Chase has something coming up called Project Emerald for Chase private clients. Supposedly, according to this user, it's a rewards program similar to Bank of America, and my guess is new cards most likely named Emerald Preferred and Emerald Reserve. Pure rumors and speculation, source being Doctor of Credit. It may or may not come to fruition, but I do feel like Chase has a gap that they need to fill between the Chase After Reserve holders and the JP Morgan Reserve holders. And I think that's an interesting point. Definitely keep an eye on the developing space here. I think that there's a lot of value for these banks and these higher net worth individuals. So Bank of America definitely has the best offering for those people, but we'll see if Chase starts competing in that space. Next, there were some updates on just Capital One as a whole. So excuse me, where is this post? This is out of order. But Capital One is no longer offering their Saver card. They just decided to take it off. I think it happened like towards the beginning of this week. They're still offering the Saver One, but the Saver is no longer available. You can't apply for it. I also went through, and their application sites are all generic URLs, and at the end it just has a product ID, which is a bunch of numbers. So I went through and I just like changed the number a bunch, like I incremented down by one, incremented up by one, like 100 each way, and I did not see one that popped up for the Saver. So they've fully removed it. If I knew it was going away, I probably would have tried to sign up for the card just to get the sign-up bonus before it's gone, but now it's gone. Sad. And then there is an elevated sign-up bonus for the Venture card, which is $250 on the Capital One travel on your first purchase in your first year, and 75,000 bonus points when you spend 4,000 miles in the first, when you spend $4,000 in the first 3 months. That's a great sign-up bonus. I think it's better than the Venture X right now, and the annual fee is only $100. So if you can get approved, definitely go for it. Capital One does have pre-approvals. I received a notice that said you'll earn the usual Venture One travel rewards. I wasn't even for the Venture card, but you won't be eligible for the new card member bonus miles or 0% intro APR. So kind of like a pop-up jail in a way. Definitely take a look and see if you're pre-approved. And if you go to apply, Capital One, just as a reminder, they pull all 3 credit bureaus. So you can freeze one of them normally and still get approved. All right, what I thought was out of order, but actually isn't out of order, is just to share from Reddit and Dr. Credit that American Express opens a new Centurion Lounge in DCA. I'm excited because I sometimes go to DCA, so I've never been to Centurion Lounges, and I do have my Platinum card for at least another 8 months. So hopefully I'll get a chance to go in there. Next, there is a U.S. Bank checking bonus for $450 plus an extra $100, but they've also added anti-churning language, which is now 12 months instead of 24 months, so they've improved their anti-churning language. You can also get another $88 to $100 via portal if you're interested. But if you would like to go for this, the requirements are for $250 when you direct deposit $2,000 to $5,000 within, I don't see the dates. Direct deposit within 90 days of account open. $350 when you direct deposit $5,000 to $8,000, and then $450 when you deposit $8,000 or more. If you can deposit that, that's a pretty great bonus. According to Dr. Credit, let me again take a really long time to load this site to see what qualifies as direct deposits. Oh gosh, everything counts as direct deposit with them. Capital One, Apple Cash, Cash App, Chase, Discover, Elements, Fidelity, super easy. Looks like anything in the world counts direct deposits to U.S. Bank. Cool. I'm not in U.S. Bank's footprint right now, and I haven't gone through and done the brokerage. There's a way to get a U.S. Bank relationship without being in footprint. I think you can open a brokerage account, or if you have a credit card with them, you'll have a foot in, but I haven't done that yet. Next, another Capital One topic. Capital One announces their plan to have a $265 billion over a 5-year plan for a community benefit. So to quote Yahoo Finance, they say it's a 5-year, $265 billion community benefit plan consisting of several initiatives by Capital One, including a plan to lend $200 billion to low and middle income consumers, $44 billion in community development work, and hundreds of millions of dollars to nonprofits, small business, and minority-owned financial institutions. So this is to try and sweeten the deal on their impending decision on their merger. I haven't heard too much about it of late. From what I've heard from Capital One's public shareholders meeting and updates on this, they seem pretty positive that it's going to go through. I know that the feds are pleased with them with how they've handled themselves post their security leak. So we'll see what happens. I think it'll get pushed through, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor, just my personal opinions. All right, next, there was an interesting post on our credit cards called "Why Do Airline Credit Cards Suck at Earning Miles?" And the user went through and made a spreadsheet for all U.S. airline credit cards. Not exhaustive, but pretty exhaustive on all the cards, their annual fees, their foreign transaction fees, their earn rates for things like dining, EV, flights, their own airline, gas, groceries, hotels, internet cable, office supplies, streaming, transit, additional discounts, companion voucher, priority boarding, free luggage. Super great spreadsheet. I just wanted to share this and call it the user Parking Ice 9206 over on Reddit. Great work there. Next, I entered this a little bit before, but if you're looking for a new place to put your whale loads amount of money, actually it's even decent for lower income, not lower income, but lower balances too. But Barclays has a new tiered savings account where it goes from, if you have less than $10,000, you get 1%, 10,000 to 25,000, 4%, 25,000 to 50,000, 4%, 50,000 to 250,000, 4.5%, over 250,000, 4.8%. It's nice seeing proper banks have these decent APYs. If you want to just lock your funds up in a pretty safe bank, you can go for it. Dr. Credit calls this not attractive and useless, but I don't think it's terrible. Like it's a pretty major bank offering a decent APY. I know you can get like 5.5% elsewhere, but seeing Barclay get into this game is pretty good. Next, I saw an article from the Wall Street Journal where there's a new way to withdraw from your 401k in emergency situations, and you can classify your emergency as whatever you want. It could be a doctor bill or groceries. But some things to note on it. Definitely read the article and read the actual tax code on this. But to quote the article, they say you'll still owe the income tax on the $1,000 you take out if you don't pay it back. So it's sort of a loan. If you pay it back, I don't know what the timeline is to pay it back, but if you don't pay it back, you have to pay income tax on that, as well as the new $1,000 emergency expense provision is optional for employer plans. And as of now, not all 401ks have adopted it. So just keep that in mind. If you do have it and wanted to use it, it's not like it's just available to everybody. Getting to our last 2 points here. The American Express Gold card, according to the CEO, is to be refreshed, quote, in the coming weeks. And I know I've called this out earlier where they said that they're going to be going through and refreshing a bunch of their cards. And it looks like the Gold is one of the first ones to get this. And then finally, Dr. Credit just shared today that Amazon has Southwest gift cards at 7% back, 7% off. So, Amazon has Southwest gift cards for a $500 Southwest gift card for $450, and then you get an additional 7% back when you choose no rush shipping and use your Amazon Prime card. You can also try stacking it with your shop with points deal, but I don't know if it'll work. So if you take 450 times 0.93, that comes out to 418.5. You divide that by 500. And then you subtract 1. That's 16% off of Southwest bucks. That's pretty great if you're interested. I know that I think Costco is done like maybe $225 for 500. So this is getting close to that. But that's it. I hope you found this episode interesting. If you want to join the Patreon and you want to join the Discord, hop in there. I mean, it takes people to join for it to be interesting. I'll be over there and I'll be hanging out and taking suggestions on how to make it better. Definitely reach out to me. And this podcast isn't really advertised anywhere. I get emails all the time from businesses telling me that my search engine optimization is atrocious and that I can pay some money for them to make it better. But I kind of just like it growing organically. I think Kai over at The Daily Churn did this, and he's cultivated a fantastic community. And I know the people that I've spoken with have been super great and engaging, and hopefully the Discord can invite some of that too. So if you can think of someone that'd be interested in a podcast like this, definitely share it out there. Means the world. Give me a rating if you haven't on whatever podcasting app you use, and hope you have a wonderful day and a great week, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace. One more thing, I forgot to intro this song. So this is The End by Sweaty Lemon, my brother's a drummer on this band, and he specifically sent this one to me and said that it's the band's favorite song. So without further ado, here's a little snippet of The End by The Sweater Lemon. Enjoy.
I'm amazed he can show his face. I learned about poolside with a bottle of wine while a young man's lights are raised. And while the dead boy